Yo, what's up, I'm your girl A1 the artist, aka I am the Black Sheep.
And I'm your girl Robin.
And today we're going to talk about the shit that people think about,
but don't want to talk about.
Similar thoughts. Hey everybody, welcome back. I appreciate you coming and listening to us again. I hope you had a good week. Robin, how's things going your way?
Things have been pretty great. Thanks for asking. And this episode is pretty exciting for us. This is a big milestone for us. We have our first guest on the show. Yeah, so please welcome my good friend, Courtney.
Hi, everybody. Hey, I'm Courtney. I'm a female photographer from Atlanta. You guys can check me out, Gurlie Photography on Instagram, shopbygurlie.com for my website. But, I'm definitely excited to be here for the conversation today.
Awesome. And that's Gurlie with the U, guys. Gurlie Photography on Instagram.
Yes, Gurlie Photography.
Yeah, check her out. She's awesome. She's from Atlanta.
Yeah, she's amazing. I've checked out some of her work prior to her being on the show, and you are amazing. Like, some of the pictures you took, I was just like, this girl is awesome. So keep it up. I love the...
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
No problem.
All right. So, guys, as you can see from the title of this episode, we are talking about gentrification, specifically in Atlanta. I know a lot of people have been having issues with it. Atlanta is growing. The film industry is here. All the shops and the celebrities. Atlanta is popping. But because of it, it's having a negative effect on the true Atlanta natives. And I brought my girl Courtney on to talk about it because she is a true Atlanta native. And I really just want to know, Courtney, how do you feel about where Atlanta is going?
Well, I feel like wholeheartedly, like, we're going in a really good direction, but I just want to make sure that we have an actual direction, Like, I've seen my city grow into something that's extremely, like, very nice, and just really captures the spirit of, like, what we're really trying to do out here, like, actually trying to, like, work for yourself and really be your own boss and just, like, go after anything that you can, that you want, as long as you can work for it. But I feel like the way that with development and all these new little accommodations being added to the city, that sometimes I feel like we're trying to be thrown off course, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, because,
yeah.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was just agreeing.
No, because they just announced that Atlanta is investing $5 billion, $5 billion into this new they're calling it Centennial Yards. So it's basically
I saw that. Like, those, like, that big park ground they're trying to put in the middle of Midtown.
Yeah.
Because apparently we need that.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah, it's actually going to be in downtown Atlanta.
And that's exactly how I feel. That's what I'm saying. Like, I understand if they're trying to, like, reinvent Georgia State area maybe, but it's like, if that $5 billion is not really helping, like, any businesses, any people, any, like, education, we just putting grass on concrete, then, you know what I mean? Where it's just, I feel like we're becoming, like, counterproductive.
Yeah, and, a lot of people...
Like, it's all for show, but it's, like, no real, like, forward thinking.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, I've seen on Twitter and Instagram, a lot of people, true Atlanta natives, aren't happy about the construction because, that's $5 billion they could have put somewhere else, to the roads, like, to the transportation system, like, homeless population.
Oh, what? Like, $1 billion I'd be okay with these roads, like, seriously. So...
Yeah. And I know the homeless population in Atlanta is a big deal too. Like, how do you feel about that? And do you believe gentrification is playing a major part in the homeless population?
Oh, most definitely. Like, we actually had, like, a real initiative at some point to really, like, help the homeless people, get them off the streets and whatnot, get them into, like, programs to get them into better situations. And it's like, it got to a point where we're getting too pretty for it. Now it's like you got homeless people everywhere, so like they have like these new ways of like, you know, just basically excluding them from like public areas and public spaces. But one thing I love about like how our homeless people are like extremely innovative and everything. Like you can see like they have little small villages and whatnot. Like they're making their own community. It's actually kind of like beautiful to see, but at the same time very sad that you have to see it all in public. You know, like yeah, I feel like a city has actually probably made the homeless situation probably worse.
I think also that you want to try to take in account when it comes to gentrification is the fact that they are driving people out of their homes to build all this new stuff, and then the cost of living becomes higher because it's new and it's where everybody wants to be per se. So it's like, okay, where do all these other people go? Yeah, you give them a lump sum of money, but it's like they have to be forced to figure it out at this point because you want to try to create something different, you know?
Exactly. And that's the thing too, is that a lot of these people are also, like you said, bought out their homes and whatnot too. And like, you know, some people didn't make it out with that much money. Like some of these people were literally just told they had to leave and with like no notice or like no support. And like you said, like to your point, nowhere to go. And like it's kind of just adding to the problem of like, you know, either pushing people out to the suburbs to where you're now populating the suburbs, or it's like all the people in the city or at least trying to like stay in the city like basically like struggling out here. Like for real. It's like basically almost turned us into like crabs in a barrel.
And you talk about overpopulation. A lot of people, Atlanta has definitely it's very condensed now. It's very overpopulated, and people are like on top of each other now. Like, how do you feel about that? Like, do you like that? I guess we're like trying to become like the New York of the South, the New York City of the South, with like the population.
And not only that, but there's a lot of people who are moving here constantly. I'm not a Georgia native, and I know I came down here, and if to find somebody that's actually from Atlanta is like
it's so rare. It's like a unicorn, right? Like yeah, like it's crazy too because it's like how I grew up or whatever in Atlanta. It's just like it's always been a place that people want to come to like get that confidence, that support, that backing that they really needed. Like Atlanta's always been home to that. But I think the difference is that these people are starting to stay instead of realizing that it's only for a moment. Like you come to Atlanta, get the energy, and then you go and you know, prosper in your own respect. A lot of people have just thought that, oh, Atlanta's like the new New York. You can just run away with your dreams. And then in Atlanta, they're going to come true, which is in some way, which is true. It's created a really good avenue for a lot of people to be able to make money. But at the same time, of course, like, you know, being stacked on top of each other, almost every single industry being like squeezed and surplus or whatnot, it does kind of create like a huge issue sometimes. But I mean, there's some industries that you'd be surprised. Like I would think would be busting at the seams, but like, you know, there's still a demand, so there's always going to be a supply. Like clubs, like the Beltline, I didn't know it was going to be this useful. Like when I heard about it in 2013, this is not how they, you know, projected it to be, but it's actually a lot more useful to me as a photographer than I thought it would be. Just getting to the city. So there's goods and there's bads, but it's just like, yeah, like definitely just the fact that there's more people, it's more condensed, it's more compact, like, is like, I don't know, like it can just definitely be a little bit more competitive. Yeah. You know? Yeah, that's why I think specifically like people from Atlanta take it more personally is because like we literally are from here. We gave it the energy that it has. Like we made it the home that y'all know it is to be. So it's just crazy how it's like people from the actual place don't always usually reap the benefits of that.
All right. And you mentioned how, you know, you were kind of on the fence about the whole Beltline transformation, and then you ended up like benefiting from it because, you know, of your photography. So do you think maybe the benefits outweigh the cons, or for you, how has it affected you?
Well, it's like, for me, it's like for the Beltline, it just made things more convenient, which is like, what I think anybody needs to get around the city just to have a good time. So I'm going to do. But when it comes to like that $5 billion project you guys were talking about earlier, that's why I'm like, we have Piedmont Park, which has been there for like decades. We got the Beltline now, which is easier to get to Piedmont and also to downtown and Buckhead and all the other places you need to go. So it's like, when it comes to spending money in the city, like, it's kind of just, you kind of see where the city is valuing its, like, support.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only thing. But as a creative, like, it's, it's giving me, like, really good inspiration to find new places, to be able to shoot, to be able to work. I'll be honest, like, I'll enjoy a wine on the Beltline, like, here and there, like, while I'm editing and whatnot, too. But I still think that there's just a lot of new developments that are coming in the future for Atlanta that are kind of off course to where we're supposed to be going,
Right.
Because if you think about it, sorry, go ahead.
No, you can go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, because if you think about it, at the end of the day, like, New York and LA are not cute for a reason because something took over. Like, LA might have cute areas and places and whatnot, whatever, but that's, like, legit all for glitz and glam. Like, they're known to be fake. And then New York, like, is basically dirty, but you got, like, real, like, grit. Like, people work out there. So that's why it's, like, Atlanta kind of just has to make, like, this decision on, like, how it wants to be. Like, I hope we don't become, like, the city of finesses.
The city of what?
Like, of finesses.
Well, there are some finesses in Atlanta.
Yeah, but I feel like that's basically where I'm just kind of getting, like, the direction that we're going. It's just a scam. Like, it's just a lot of people come down here and find ways of just scamming other people, which is, like, not gonna knock a hustle. But that's also why it's, like, the new developments that they have coming up in the city. That's why I'm like, these are all just for looks, but these are actually helping our city get real money and put it back into our real communities,
Okay. So
do you think... I'm sorry.
You go ahead.
Okay. Do you think that there are actual pros to gentrification as a whole, or do you just see downsides? Or
I feel like if there's a specific way that you're trying to take your city, that's just progressive for everybody, then yes. Like, when you're gentrifying, when you're, redeveloping these places, trying to clear it out, trying to make it look nicer and everything, try to bring in new businesses and actually, like, really flourish the community, I definitely do think that there's a lot of upsides to it. It's just, realistically, when you think of the people who get to, like, have the benefits of those upsides, it's not always the people who had to sacrifice for them. So that's why it's just like, there are definitely good developments for use, but for practicality, for, like, livelihood, just around you, like, I do think that you have to just, like, be considerate. Like, if you're going to have a $5 billion project for new development of, like, a park or a central park or whatever, where's the money for, like, this really big initiative to get people off the street? Like, where's that $5 billion? Like, how can we find the same amount of money for that? Or at least allocated towards that? Because I don't know not one person right now who's fiending for a park. Like,
Do you think that it will help with the job market, though, at least? Like, creating more jobs, like, as they build these new businesses, it does open up the door to create more jobs. Do you think that can be beneficial?
Yeah, it definitely helps, like, build up communities and, like, bring in, like, business, and business opportunities for a lot of people. Like, I can definitely agree with that. I think, like, definitely, like, gentrification can definitely, I guess, put money back into the community once it's, like, done right. Even, like, for a good example, like, in my neighborhood, like, I'm in the Southwest area of Atlanta, and there's, like, a Black-owned coffee shop that's, like, right down the street from me on Cascade. And so, like, that's the type of stuff where I'm like, okay, like, that's a good form of gentrification. Like, it's a very nice little cute modern coffee shop that's Black-owned. It's, like, our money being put back into, like, the hands of people who we're familiar with or whatever. And then even just, like, him bringing in, like, business for employees, him bringing in different people, even just in the that part of the city just to see his like coffee shop or whatever. So it brings people into like different areas that they're not used to. So I feel like, how do I say this? I feel like gentrification honestly is probably just more beneficial to people who are it's designed for, like realistically.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's designed for new people in the area, for new everything, like, you know, energy, all that. But the thing is that when it comes to new, you have to change something. So if there are some people who never had an issue with like the past, then it's always going to be a downside to it, you know?
Mm-hmm. So do you feel like there is like a disconnect, like Atlanta has lost sight of what really matters? Because a few months ago, I remember seeing that the city put out these boulders, like you brought out the homeless population and how they have their own little community. But the city put like boulders down under like the bridges where you typically see the homeless community. Like, how do you feel about that? Like, instead of trying to help them, they're hurting them even more than what they already are.
They're further displacing them.
Yeah.
And, you know, almost just putting them back in their situation. And that's another thing, too, is like, it's ridiculous because a lot of people are under the impression that homeless people are all just like walking around asking for money 24/7. Like in Atlanta, our homeless population is actually like a working class. Like people literally actually do have jobs, but they got to pay for like a phone bill. You got to pay for transportation, and that shit adds up. And we're not getting paid enough to where it's like people could still be on the streets. So when you come home from like a whole 8-hour shift, had to spend like your whole check on your phone bill, and all you wanted to do was just like lay down, rest your head somewhere, and there's a big ass boulder. It's like it just stresses that entire situation like way more than it has to be. You know, it puts a huge strain on like that. We're trying to help you effect when it's like we're just moving you around until you eventually leave.
Right. And I know you're a very, very busy, booked and busy woman, but the last thing I want to ask you, like a lot of people say, gentrification, one of the pros of gentrification is the reduction in the crime rate. Do you think there has been a difference? Like, have you seen a difference in the crime?
Are you kidding? Oh my God, I can't curse. No, I have not.
You can curse.
Oh, nigga, what? No, there's been no reduction. There's been like a huge increase. Like, it's just brought crime. Like, I have never seen so many. I mean, it's just like so many car accidents, so many like racing situations, so many just like shootouts or whatever. Like, it's not to say that Atlanta wasn't always rowdy, but it's definitely been turned on 10, like, in the past 3 years.
Oh, so that's interesting. You believe that it has increased the crime rate.
Yes. I'm sorry, are you safer out there in Cobb County?
Listen, I stay in the house anyway. But like, I have the ring notification, the ring doorbell notifications. Tell me why it's like every week. Did y'all hear shooting? There's shots fired over here. Like somebody always shooting. I'm like, God dang. Can we get a week with no one shooting?
I remember you and I went to Georgia State, so we used to hearing like people being held up and stuff. But now like, they out here just killing people now.
Yeah, they don't care. It's rough out here in these Atlanta streets. But Courtney, thank you so much for doing this. It was very insightful. Thank you for being our first guest. It was awesome.
Yes, we do appreciate it. We appreciate you coming on and spending time with us. And we know you're busy and taking the time out to do our little podcast. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much for considering me and choosing me to talk to as well. I hope I had a very insightful perspective for you.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely. And again, guys, check her out on social media. Courtney Gurlie.
Gurlie Photography, yep. Courtney Gurlie, and Shop by Gurlie. Gurlie.
Yep, absolutely. All right. I will talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that went really well.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope to get another person's perspective. And we always love the guests. So hit us up. Like, if you want to be a guest on one of our shows, like, we always coming up with different topics. So it's always nice to have other people's perspective besides our own.
Yeah, this was a great episode. Again, I want to shout out my good friend, Courtney Gurlie. Make sure you guys check her out on social media. She's Gurlie Photography on Instagram. That's Gurlie with a U. Gurlie Photography. You can also check out her personal page, Courtney Gurlie. and shopbygurlie.com. She's an awesome photographer. She is a true Atlanta native. I love her. I think you guys will love her too. And again, thank you so much for tuning in for another week of Similar Thoughts. Bye. If you enjoyed today's topic, let's keep the conversation going. Make sure you like us on Facebook at Similar Thoughts Podcast and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at _Similar Thoughts.
And also follow me at A1 the Artist. That's AONE _the _artist. And I am the Black Sheep. And that's IM_THA Black Sheep. Thanks again for listening. And you guys have a wonderful week.